Going on YouTube. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the potential state of the meta coming up here soon in the OP10. Now, again, depending on our ban list, it's really going to shape how this next meta is going to go. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Counter Network for this video footage. This is not mine. If you would like to go ahead and check out more from this channel, by all means. Go check them out. Just check out the footage and original commentary from this video. I'm really just using this as a background to kind of sort of just explain where we're heading into when it comes to OP10. Now again, depending on the bans that we get from OP10, it's really going to depend on what decks are about to be toppers in this next coming meta. Now, was able to dodge the hard ban hammer last time, but it might be time for Gecko Moria to finally be taken out. If Gecko Moria, excuse me, if Gecko Moria finally is removed from the game, then what this means is that black as a color is going to suffer tremendously for its ability to keep up in the state of the current meta. With that being said, decks like Black Yellow Luffy will completely fall off without Gecko Moria. Lucci will damn near fall off without Gecko Moria. It loses a very big powerhouse for its in game. And just black, like I say, as a total, just suffers holistically if this does happen. This is going to be a very big problem for, like I say, black in general. And leaders like Bonnie and Blackbeard and pretty much every other meta leader that we have are just going to take off. Again, if we get rid of Dofi and we get rid of Gecko Moria, then that means that more than likely Blackbeard and Bonnie are going to be our premier decks. Those are going to be the two best decks that we have leaving OP09. Going into OP10, obviously we have our OP10 contenders. They're going to try and fight for the meta, but in all reality, most of these leaders haven't been doing too much. They've been kept at bay by previous leaders. So some of the newer decks, Smoker is still a very good viable deck. Usopp still a very good viable deck. You know, all these decks are still very good, but I think that they are still going to have issues when it comes to some of these decks. I think that obviously Usopp doesn't have much of a problem against Blackbeard, and you know, depending on what you get with Smoker, you know, the same situation. But what I really want to go over is that if we do hit this format where we're dealing with a lot of Bonnie and we're dealing with a lot of Blackbeard, then what I really want you guys to understand are some key staple cards that are going to be necessary going on into the future here. And one of those key necessary cards is going to be Jesus Christ, Lord. I can't think of the name of it. Hopefully I'll put it on the screen for you guys to be able to see when I in post. But pretty much what's the yellow event, the red rock for yellow that pretty much takes you down to 1 life. I know you guys know the card that I'm talking about. Pretty much KOs any character on the field for your life, and it costs 6. The exact same as Red Rock. I think that that's going to be a staple card in the future for yellow, for any yellow deck actually, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of fortresses coming up here soon. ACOS Kid is at 4 in almost every green deck that you see, from Bonnie to Kid, which is seeing a resurgence, to Red Green Smoker. The only green leader we know that isn't running Kid at a 4 but still at 2 is going to be Green Yellow Law. Aside from that, every other green deck is running Kid at a max 4. They're maxing out on Kid. Kid is super effective. It cost Kid is super effective. A very strong card and very good for the longevity of you surviving. Now they did give Green a lot of anti-black, anti-removal support, which is just going to make Green a powerhouse of a color coming up here in the near future. With that being said, like I said, you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on taking advantage of all these cards that do all these like particular skills towards getting rid of high cost characters. Like I said, if you're running anything that is green, then you'll be wanting to run Shanks, as Shanks is one of your only viable options for getting rid of larger green bodies, or getting rid of rested fortress cards such as Kid. If you're going against, like I say, Blackbeard, then you're going to be run that yellow bit. You're going to be run Red Rock, Gum Red Rock to go ahead and bottom deck that. Essentially, you're going to be trying to get in as much high cost removal as you can, because again, coming into this new format, we're about to have a whole lot. And when I say a whole lot, I do mean a whole lot. Let's go ahead and try and skip the ads here. We're about to have a whole lot, like I say, just generically good defensive decks. Okay, there are about to be a lot of decks that are going to be very good with defending themselves, and you are going to want to make sure that you have everything at your disposal to be able to get rid of those cards. Like I say, running these cards that I'm talking about is almost going to be mandatory for the upcoming future because of, again, all of the fortress-like builds we're seeing being played all around the map. Um, say running cards that KO is going to be so critical, and like I said, with green having the ability to essentially protect themselves a lot better with the Rosendante and with the Tashigi coming out, it's going to make green a very big powerhouse of a color, very hard to take down, very powerful. So we're let's say you're going to want to try and find the means in which you can use to take out these powerhouses. And even when we get past OP10, OP11, we can see that we're just having another set of decks that are just throwing down powerhouses. Kobe's throwing down powerhouses. Katakuri powerhouses. Uh, blue, purple, blue, purple, Luffy powerhouses. Like all these decks are just throwing out large creatures. Large creatures is the new wave for One Piece. Just either, like I say, with Smoker, you're playing Hody Jones for 4. Okay, you're tapping essentially 4 down for a Hody Jones if you have a Smoker on board, and even if you don't have a Smoker on board, you're tapping 6 for a Hody Jones, which is, I'm sorry, you're tapping 5 for a Hody Jones, which is just mind blowing when you actually think about it. Like six cost, 8,000 power, rush character, and it's just too good. It's just too good. It's very powerful. Like I said, our power creep in O10 is just the ability to just summon large bodies with low cost. Or in the case of Katakuri and Bluefy, you're just able to summon an 8 cost blocker. I want you to think about that. You're able to summon an 8 cost blocker in Katakuri and in Luffy that's going to be able to restand pretty much all your big mom cards, including itself. An 8 cost blocker that can attack and restand itself is very powerful. And like I say, in color combinations, you're going to be wanting to run, like I say, in green, you're going to be wanting to run your Bonnies, your Jewelry Bonnies to stun Don, to stun creatures that are too big for you to deal with. Like cards like those are going to become super necessary here in the near future. We're just going to need to have these cards in our decks because these decks are just going to be insanely powerful coming up. So when it comes to board removal, you want to make sure that you got your board removal down. You want to make sure that you're running some sort of board removal in your deck. Like I said, if you're running blue, it almost is mandatory to be running red rock. In my personal opinion, it's almost mandatory to be running red rock. If you're running, like I say, yellow, it's almost mandatory to be running the event that KOs the ball. I still can't think of the name of it. Like I say, and if you're there are any other colors that have just generic just KO a creature. Those are the only two that just have that generically. Like I say, Shanks has it, but it's in rest, and your character has to be rested, and that's the green's version of it. Black doesn't have a generic, just KO whatever the heck you feel like. Purple does have KOing high cost characters. I do believe that there is a purple event that allows you to KO cost 8 characters. It's generic. There is a generic purple card that just doesn't require you to have any kind of leader type. It just generically pops cost 8, which again is going to be super strong coming up here in the near future. And I know that red has I know the Divine Departure coming up for KOing 8,000 power characters and lower, and that's going to be super clean and red because you'll be able to have power reduction, which is really going to help with being able to clear those bodies off the board. But again, like I say, in the near future, we are going to have to start running cards that remove characters from the field. And you just have to have those cards, like I say, Ben Beckman's, Divine Departures, whatever it is, whatever, if it can remove high costs, you really just be running in the deck, especially if you don't have any kind of reduction. And the reason why I'm saying that you want to be running these cards as opposed to other cards is because they're just one card get her done. All right, and then upcoming money and upcoming meta, and just in general, you don't want to be spending like 3-4 cards to get rid of run creatures. That's just horrible value. That is absolutely horrible value. A 1-for-1 is your best shot. A card that just says boop, move it out of my way, let's continue, is really what's going to be your best bet continuing for the new upcoming meta, especially with how aggressive, like I say, Law, with aggressive Smoker, with the control of Usopp, and with Kid being such a big body too. Kid also just producing large bodies and producing blockers and just snatching your life. You know what I'm saying? That can become a huge issue in the near future here. But you know, we're just gonna have to see how the meta shapes out. But you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion on some of the things that we should be running here in the near future because we know, like I said, that there's just going to be a big powerhouse in characters that are going to come out. They're just gonna run the format. Like I say, you watch this game here. I think I've never seen anybody run Jack inside of a Blackbeard deck. That's pretty interesting tech if you do that. If I do say so myself. But as you can see here, he's got see here you've got the Fortress combo right there. You know what I'm saying? You got the kid. You've got a lot of cards in hand. You've got the Rosadante blocker. Now, granted, he doesn't have a handful of counter. You can see he's got 3 non-counter in hand, but that's not the point. The point is that like that Jack, he's going to have to use that Jack to KO that Rosadante before he can use anything to KO that kid, which is actually super possible from this board state actually. And don't know if I would have used the die. I don't know if I would have used the Jack just yet to KO the Rosadante. You could have used one of your smaller creatures to KO that Rosadante, and then reduce by 3 with the Van Gogher to take it down by 5. If you've got any more reduction in your hand, and you should be pretty good. Yet reduce that to a 5 cost, and then yeah, see, super simple, super clean. And see, this is what I'm talking about in black. And if you got combinations like that in black, those are what you're going to want to use. You're going to want to use that finger pistol to reduce the cost of these high cost characters. And say black does have finger pistol, so and black does have reduction. So I guess you know black really doesn't need a card that says KO anything of any kind of color when you got reduction. So in black you're gonna be running card combinations like those to go ahead and take care of those large bodies. Again, this is going to be a super necessary in the upcoming future due to all the fortresses that we are seeing coming out. Like I say, Bonnie is going to be a fortress. Kid is going to be a fortress. Watch out for Kid. If you haven't been playing the game since OP02 and you weren't playing the OP03 meta where Kid was super relevant and very much a strong powerhouse of a leader, then you don't know the power of Kid. You just don't know how insanely strong that card is and how it just will win you games. Kid is just a game winning card. It's just very powerful. Again, if Blue Dolphy gets hit and if Gecko Moria gets hit, like I say, they just ban Delphi and they ban Gecko, then I promise you Bonnie is just one of the Bonnie is one of the best decks of the format. Blackbeard obviously going to be a good deck of the format. Black Yellow Luffy is just dunzo. So you wouldn't even have to worry about that. It just simultaneously it would shift our format so much. It would change how we play in the OP10 so much if we lose those particular cards. Like if we take out Gecko and we take out Delphi, I promise you then these two decks are really just like I said, the premier decks to come out of the OP09 era into the 010. And you couldn't convince me any otherwise. All right, like you couldn't tell me that that's not what's about to happen. I strongly believe that once we move out of this meta and we figure out what that ban list is, this is what's going to happen. Because there's just too much evidence to support this. We can have some Reiju decks come out here and there. Just to start a format, it's just a comfortable deck in which people are going to play. Anel again going to be pretty strong. Anel actually going to be a pretty good deck to be playing here, but Anel's still going to have to contend with Blackbeard. I think that randomly Ace becomes the brother of choice once Luffy is gone, because Ace is just a I don't want to say Blue Yellow Ace is a less powerful Luffy, but it functions the same if you're playing not the luck factor of Ace, but the control factor of Ace, which is you're playing cards to set up your top end. Then yeah, I think that very big premier, very big deck, very much going to be what runs the meta. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, until OP11 comes out, then I think that those cards are going to, like I say, they're just going to be the cards. They're going to be the ones that you're going to have to look out for. They're going to be ones that are just going to be running the format. It's just like I say, that's just how it's going to go down. I would like to assume that it'll go down a little differently, but let's be realistic here. Without like I say, those other leaders to stop these leaders from gaining the momentum and tempo, then we're just hurt. You know what I'm saying? We're just in a hurt format. Looking like he's gonna drop that 10 drop. The 10 drop doesn't seem like a bad idea. It actually seems like a pretty good idea. Being able to reduce a kid with no way of defending the kid does not seem like the play. Dropping that 10 drop so he's only got one really effective attack might be the play, but then you're going to have to get past 2 life, and you're going to lose a creature, and you don't have a Hoity Jones in your hand. So, oh no, he does have a Hoity. He has a Hoity. So he might just want to drop the 10, freeze the 2 creatures. Oh no, he won't have the on play. So never mind. So it might be. It's a really tough position to be in as a body player, especially since he doesn't have a blocker. He doesn't have a way to protect the kid. But dropping the kid might be his best chance for survival, especially since he's such low counter in hand. It looks like he doesn't have a lot. But he's going to drop the 10 drop. No on play, so you won't be able to freeze unless his opponent did not use leader ability for the last turn, which would be strange if you ask me. I don't think that you should ever go without using your leader ability. I think that that's one of the strongest aspects of the deck, but I think he was really just trying not to die. I can't see his opponent's hand size, so I'm not really sure like what his opponent has to be able to effectively make that decision. We knew that the other 10 beer was coming down to go ahead and freeze the Shanks. I don't know why you were freeze the Shanks and you wouldn't freeze the higher. No, wait, no. Shanks is stronger. Shanks is stronger. Never mind. Shanks is 11. Dofi's only 10. All right, so now that makes sense. But now he's got to survive 2 attacks. He left up both his blockers. He didn't go for the life in case of a Hoity Jones. But that was very smart. It was very, very smart because I've seen a lot of people lose to Hoity Jones. I've seen a lot of people lose to Hoity Jones playing Blackbeard because they choose not to activate their leader skill in the end. But that's the whole point of the leader skill in the end. It's just to prevent your opponent from gaining the advantage of their own plays to help them push for an aggressive game. So yeah, like absolutely using leader ability. I've seen Blackbeard players lose because they don't decide to Hoity Jones in the end. Like which to me is like, yeah, like you got to be intentionally throwing the game if you're playing against green in the end game, and they're going towards like I say, the end game, the stretch of the last turn, and you decide not to use leader ability. And me personally, I think that they're throwing. Like you got to be throwing if you're not using leader ability towards the end game. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. But like he's just going to go in. He needs to try and go in for life. That's his literal best bet. He tries to go in for a swing. It looks like it gets countered. He goes in for another one. And that's exactly what I would have done. Yeah, because now you've got the defensive. You don't really have the defense of the AA Rosadante. Since he has 2 ways of KOing that Rosadante, you got 1 life. He's very low counter in hand, but he does have to get past his kid. Now, a simple turning to the side of his Doc Q will get rid of the Rosadante, and then he can just go in with, yeah, he could go on both his blockers. He's got 10, 11, he's got 11k, so, I mean, if he goes in with both his blockers and he's unsuccessful here, then it's all bad, because he's got 12 he can run, not an ad, and not an ad right now. Come on now, it's not what we need. We don't need ads. We want the gameplay. You know what I'm saying? We want to see what happens next. This is not it. You know what I mean? This lag in my internet right now is also god awful. Peas and rice. All right, looks like the guys fucking heard us. Yeah, that's the hell I'm talking about. Fuck that ad. All right, and let's see. I see only 10, 11k. So this Blackbeard player is actually in a very, very compromising position, especially since like he did not, well, he did use the 10 drops, but the body player does have its ability only if he drops another 10. The only hope for the Blackbeard player right now is to drop another 10 drop. That is the only way in which he is going to survive. He has to get rid of this kid this turn if he can. So he needs to be able to figure out how to do that. I know he sent a lot of his events to the trash already. So now he's just trying to figure out what it is he's going to need to just go ahead and get rid of the Rosadante and the kid. Because if he doesn't get rid of that Rosadante, he doesn't get rid of that kid. It's very much GG's. I personally believe that the last turn when he had the he should have used 1 Blackbeard to swing, and then use the other Blackbeard to stay up, because I doubt he goes in. For one, you know he's not finna invest in to get one of those Blackbeards because you've only got one life. He would have had no life, and it wouldn't have been in his best favor to try and go for that Blackbeard. He's reduced that to a 5 cost now, and looks like he's going to. What am I watching right now? Serious. Okay, he's got the fingerprint. He's got the event. All right, so it looks like it's actually pretty good for the BB player. It looks like you just go in with leader and you just go in with both your blockers, and that's game. But you know he doesn't know his opponent has 6 cards in hand. You never know what they can have. But Bonnie isn't the deck that usually just has a lot of kind of like you got to be the most insanely fortunate. What did I just witness? What did I just witness? What do you mean you didn't swing 7 at lead, cost him 2 cards out of his hand? Oh, what just happened? What just happened? What was that? You had game, my boy. You had game. All you had to do was take those 2 Dons, swing 7, take 2 out of his hand. He's got 6. There is no probable way that with 6 cards in his hand. I mean, let's see. He would have to go an event, which is 2. No. So let's just say he takes the 7, and he's got 7 cards in his hand, and you go 12. He would have to use the event, which is 2 cards, a 2K to get up to 10, another 2K to get up to 12, and another 1K just to survive. He needs 5 cards to survive one of those attacks, okay? Let's just say that he does give you 2 cards. Say he gives you the event for that 7K swing, and he's only now got 4 cards in the hand. There is no mathematical way he's surviving both of those swings, my boy. There's just no way. There's none. I don't understand why this game is still going on. I am very, very lost. If he loses, then oh no, he had leader skill. Okay, no. He had leader skill. He had leader skill. So that's why he didn't. That's why he didn't swing. All right. So I'm the silly bar stool. I'm the silly bar stool. We'll just keep in mind that Bonnie does have the ability to just rest. He would not have been able to just go in as ham as he wanted to. He needed all his done. So I get it now. I get it. I get it. That would have been a very dangerous, very stupid play. He would have lost the game. Don't listen to me and what I just previously said. I was very, very wrong. I see that now. Okay. This just goes to show you the power of Bonnie, though. This just goes to show you how just generically strong that leader skill is. And, like, when it comes to green, what do you limit in green? Like, you can say Hoodie Jones. You can say we can take out Hoodie Jones, but we're having the new Yamato come out. But that seems like a very fair and balanced trade to go ahead and take out the Hoodie to give us the Yamato. I mean, like, this again, they do essentially the same thing, but you can't play a Yamato early game. And Yamato doesn't take the life. I think one of the balances to Hoodie Jones is the fact that he actually just takes the life from you. But this BB player is in a very, very, very interesting position. The green Bonnie player is also in a very interesting position because now, oh man, he took that. He's got 2 swings. I don't know how many cards a BB player has in his hand. I'd imagine it's not a lot. The Bonnie player has to win on this turn, or it's all over with. And if he turned off his on play abilities, that means that Hody Jones is not going to be able to rest. And it looks like he did turn off his on play, so he's just going to have to fortress up yet again and just pray for the best. If he drops another Blackbeard here, though, it is all bad. It is definitely all bad. So he's going to have to do some major reducing. Unfortunately, BB is in a deck to run a lot of reduction because they don't really focus much on the reduction. They focus on using their events and everything such as to go ahead and make everything pop off for him. I think that he should have saved one of those. If he has another liberation, then he can win the game. If he could just shut off that kid's ability for this turn, then he should be good to go. If he drops another 10 beard, he also should be good to go because he'll shut off the leader ability and he'll be able to just swing in with all of his characters. But will that be enough? Actually, yes. If he drops a 10 beard right here, that 5, 6, 12, 12 thing should be enough to win him the game because the 5 would be a card, the 6 would be another card, which is 2K, and then he's got the 2 12Ks that he'll have to deal with. And I don't think he can do that. But because he hasn't just immediately dropped that 10 beard, I don't think that it's in his hand, which is going to be a big problem. And he swings in with the 10 beard, resting the other 10 beard. This is a big problem for the Blackbeard player. I think that we can actually call this game as over with because there's no way he's going to survive because he swung 14 Let's see. That is the zero cost event. Yep. 12, 14. That is zero cost events. Take him up 11. 2K. Take him up 13, 15. And now he's going to go a total of 7, 8 to his life. He's got only one more counter. Wow. And that is game. That is game. The Bonnie player wins. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Hold on, wait a second here, because we gotta take a second to go back here. What just happened? Am I smoking rocks? There's not a card that he gained, is there? So what's three? What the? Oh, he would have top decked. He'd have top decked the Laboon. Never mind. Okay, so I was very confused there. I was very thrown off by what just happened because I thought that he had a Laboon and chose not to play it, but that's not the case. But again, that just goes to show you how powerful these decks are about to become. Bonnie about to be a complete powerhouse if we don't have the necessary meta to combat it. It just is. But that was the video, guys. Thank you guys for coming by. Again, go ahead and check out this channel if you want to see more of the content coming from these guys. And you guys have a good day. At a pizza.